Hello, and welcome to the Meditation Movement podcast with the British School of Meditation.
In this podcast, we will share all things meditation, including showcasing the wonderful work that our register of meditation teachers are doing all over the country and further afield in helping so many people benefit from this amazing practice.
Meditation and community are our two biggest passions, and we can't wait to share them both with you in this space.
So sit back, relax, maybe even close your eyes, and don't forget to breathe. We hope you enjoy this episode.
Hi, Sarah.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's really wonderful to have this opportunity to chat with you about all things life, meditation, and in particular your book, Making Friends with Yourself, which I believe was published a year ago.
That's right. Yeah, I'm celebrating a year. I'm so excited about it.
Amazing.
I can't believe how quickly that year's gone.
Yeah. And that was also about the time that we and Catherine Banks took over the reins of the British School of Meditation and became co-owners. So it's really been quite a year for you, hasn't it?
It certainly has. Yeah, it was. It was great timing, but it was also challenging timing as well at the same time.
Sure. So would you like to just tell us all a little bit about yourself and your businesses, maybe what motivates you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I always say the journey kind of began when I was diagnosed with ME. I was about 26 years old and I'd been really quite poorly for about a year. And it was awful to get the diagnosis because I was told that in all likelihood I might feel this way for the rest of my life. And although it sounds quite melodramatic to say it now, but it would even hurt to blink where I was so fatigued, so fatigued. I would go from day to day not knowing how I was going to feel. Some days I could hold up a book, other days I couldn't. Some days I could get out of bed, other days I couldn't. So it was really tough. And I had some really supportive doctors, actually. I was very, very lucky. My GPs were very supportive and they suggested that I explored complementary therapies and read self-help books. And at that time, self-help books, in your local bookshop was just a small, selection,
Yeah.
not like it is today. So that's what I did. And each time I was learning something about why I felt the way I did and what I could do about it. But what was quite instrumental was actually meditation and choosing some mantras which were happy, healthy, and strong. And what I found was 2 years later, after starting meditation, I was happy, healthy, and strong. So I decided I wanted to turn a negative into a positive and become a holistic therapist at that time. I didn't think I could be a meditation teacher. I thought you had to be a Buddhist to be a meditation teacher. And help people. I just wanted to help them understand why they felt that like they did and show them different ways which they could be supported, with their health and well-being. And this turned into teaching the elements that I was doing in around about 2010. And then continue from there. So I kind of, where I am now is that I support people with their personal and professional development and hopefully helping people also to go out and support others with their tough times as well. That's sort of where I am.
Because you also are a trained Reiki master.
That's right. Yeah. And
You offer Reiki as well.
yeah, I absolutely love it. When I came into it, it sounded all a bit woo. And I was, I was quite resistant at the beginning, but I couldn't get over the difference I felt and how I felt when I was having the first treatment. I felt it working. I could feel it, something going on in my body. And I remember thinking, I know this will help me, and it certainly did. So, yeah, and to me, that sounds a bit like I sound like a bit like a hippie when I say this, but it is all about the vibration, man.
Yeah. Oh, that's so amazing. So you spoke a little bit there about mantra. You practice mantra, some mantras and meditation. So is that your sort of favorite practice, or have others that you go to?
I absolutely love mantra and I love chanting. I do others as well, but it is my go-to, and it's what I do when I wake up in the morning. The first thing I do is chant. As soon as, I have a shower, but then I chant. And I like to be up before everybody else so that it feels like a really sacred moment for me to do that on a morning. I call it my daily devotion.
Yeah.
And then I after I've chanted, I do some yoga, and then I finish off with mantra. But then pockets through the day, there's many opportunities throughout the day to bring metta, to bring loving kindness and mindfulness as well. Lots of mindful moments. So I feel like, it meditation just weaves itself all the way through. Yeah. Or sometimes I might turn to more of a Zen kind of
Yeah.
practice. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so beautiful. So let's have a little chat about your book. So your book, Making Friends with Yourself, as we said, came out last year. So really, what prompted you to write it? Can you tell us a little bit about, why write the book?
Well, it was really strange, but I woke up one morning with the skeleton of the book, and it was just suddenly there in my head. And it was just this feeling of, I felt like it was great that I could support people who were coming to my little training room, or, were coming for treatments. It felt great to do that, but it suddenly thought, well, wouldn't it be really nice to be able to get this a bit further afield? I found, even though there was only small selections of self-help books at the time, I was cherry picking bits,
Yes.
and finding bits that were so useful, and I just wanted to be the same. And I think I what I had was what I wished I'd had when I was ill. That
Yeah,
was the
when
skeleton
you were in
idea.
that bookshop.
Yeah, yeah. I wish that was the one that was on the shelf to
Yeah.
help me understand that really my fight or flight, was kind of in such a place where I was constantly fearful,
Mm.
and my body was just saying, let's retreat, let's get you out of all of these situations, and the only way we can do that is to make you feel absolutely exhausted,
Yeah.
because everywhere you are going seems to be like the lion's den.
Yeah.
And so that was why I wanted to write a book to kind of help people that were feeling overwhelmed understand that, a lot of why they were feeling like that was because their fight or flight was actually doing its job,
Yes.
to
Yes.
respect that.
Yes.
But actually meditation can help bring the balance,
Yeah.
to the body and mind, to give the body and mind the rest that it needs in between all of these psychological threats that are around us all the time.
Yeah, no, that's so inspiring. That's really amazing, Sarah. And were there any people that particularly inspired or helped you? You've spoken about, the amazing GP, but were there any other sort of people, or, were there any other specific books which really inspired you?
I think that the people were the complementary therapists that I turned to, and I actually acknowledged them at the back, because
Yes,
there was I tried so many different things, and every single one of those complementary therapists held me in some way. You
yes,
know, they held me, supported me, and that was therapy in itself.
yeah,
And I could then see how their treatments were helping me. So that was, yeah, I did lots of different things, and some I spent longer with than others. And then my family were amazing as well. They were obviously really scared and worried about what I was going through. But again, their support, I couldn't be here. My husband, we hadn't been together long, and I'd gone from this bubbly, happy, bright, sunshiny kind of personality to not being able to get out of bed. And that was tough for him, but he stuck by
so
me, and
challenging. Yeah,
yeah, and he champions me every step of the way. And then my children inspire me to be the best I can be at all times.
mm,
That's the reason I continue to meditate every single day, is because I want to be the best that I can be for them, so that they've always got that support from coming from me.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. And did you find that some therapies, were more supportive than others? Did you sort of pick and choose, or did you sort of go down one route?
I did many, and the thing is, I think it so much what, when people used to come to see me, I used to say, this is going to work in two different ways. One is that you have to like the therapy that you're
Mm,
having. The other is that you need to feel a trust with the therapist.
mm,
And if one of those is lacking, then you've got to stop. And so I used to say to people, I might not be the right person, and this treatment might not be the best thing for you. And so I found homeopathy was brilliant, and the therapist that I had was wonderful. I did that for about a year or two, I think. Acupuncture was amazing, and again, the therapist was wonderful. I dipped a toe in reflexology, but I cried a lot with that, and I realised that was
wasn't
probably
for you.
really,
Yeah,
yeah. But
at that
I
moment.
now realize, yeah, and I realize actually it probably was very powerful, but the therapist didn't at the time didn't know how to hold that. And then Reiki just, was, it felt like the only way I can describe it was like my lights had been switched off, and Reiki felt like it was igniting the lights again.
Mm,
That's the only way I can describe that feeling that I had with the first treatment, was like I was awakening
yeah.
to something else.
And
But meditation was the thing, and that was the thing that kind of came really early on, actually, that wove its way with all of those treatments. And it was the thing where I felt like I'm doing this for me, for myself. I don't need anybody else to create this feeling for me. I'm doing this myself. So that
yeah,
yeah,
really empowering in a way. Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, yeah,
And I suppose in a way what you've described is very like meditation itself, in that there are lots of different types of meditation. Um, and and different ways of going into meditation. So one might find a teacher, and really empathize with that teacher or be supported by that teacher. And so it's again, even in meditation, there's those ways of what's working for us at a particular moment.
it really is. And I find, so many people say, oh, I tried meditation once and I didn't get on with it. And I want to
Yes.
stamp my feet a little bit, because I want to say, well, that's just one you tried. And it might
Yes.
have been the moment you were in and it didn't flow. It might have not been the right fit of meditation for what you need right now. Or it could be that you need a teacher there to help support you while you learn. And and that's what I always want to say to people. Don't sort of feel it's not for you with the first one. Just try it in different ways, to really see. Because I often use this analogy. Last year I learnt to crochet, and
Mm.
the first 2 weeks all I did was make knots, just over and over again. I was trying to make a pretty little flower, but I was just making knots. But every time I was making those knots, I was learning something about
Yes.
crocheting, about the right way to hold the needle, the right way to hold the wool. And even as I'm making a knot, sometimes I'm thinking, oh, I'm making this knot, but I know I'm doing this not quite in the right way. And I say this to people learning to meditate. The first 2 weeks, you might feel like you're just making knots in your mind, you know. But actually, if
Yeah.
yeah, if you keep with it, after a while, all of a sudden you're learning. You're learning even when you're thinking. You're learning. You're learning all the way through, and eventually you'll suddenly find a moment where you go, "Oh yeah, yeah, it's happening now."
I've got a flower.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Oh, that's wonderful. And actually, in your book, there are some lovely meditations that people can use. So, how would you advise that we can use the meditations from your book? And is there any other advice you would share?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to give a variety to show the different types, and again to help people dip a toe into the different types that are out there, and very, very, like, so many different techniques. And so that's why it's there, and to remind people that if they find they do, because there's recordings that you can access, there's a website link you can access the recordings that you can listen to, and if you find that the first one, it didn't land with you, try another one.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean it doesn't work for you. Like I just mentioned, it just means that wasn't the one, or the right timing at that moment. The other thing as well, you know, and I make it clear at the beginning of the book that if you do have health concerns, and particularly with your mental health, always check with a GP about
Yeah,
anything when you try something new as
that's
well.
very important.
And there's loads of tips as well in the book about how to set things up before you even get to do the meditation, you know, about how to sit, you know, how to create the right scene for yourself as well.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, thank you. So, oh, well, I love the book. I was particularly struck by your references to judgment and that judgment is a full stop. And there's a quote, leave your front door and your back door open. So this whole area of flow and non-judgment is so important, isn't it?
To me, it's a really important foundation to meditation.
Could you
And
say a little bit more about that?
yeah, I suppose what we will often do when we've got a focused attention, or you know, we're doing a mindfulness experience, is there's lots of add-ons that come with our thoughts, and it's very easy for us to judge even the fact that we're thinking, or to judge the tone of thinking, to go off in a story about the thinking, or to even judge our body, discomfort, to judge the breath. You know, a lot of judgment can come in, and actually, you know, we're built to have judgment in order that to keep us safe, because we need to make snap judgments you know, through our sensory system in order to create safe environments for ourselves. But when we turn that inwards, it really gets in the way of what could be a really nice flow. So understanding the principle, the foundation of non-judgment, is really key, because when you even understand that that exists, it means that you can soften the experience of judgment.
Yes.
And it means it is much easier to get beyond the thought of, I've got discomfort in my body, or my breath is really short, or I'm thinking all the
Yeah.
time, you know. It's easier to bring yourself back to the focus. Whereas if you're stuck in judgment
Yeah.
and everything feels wrong,
Yeah.
then you know, it's really hard to get back again. So I like to put that on the table, whether you come into classes with me or reading the book. Let's put this on the table, let's talk about it, because it's important to know that you can have a more compassionate approach to your meditation experience.
Yeah, that's so important, isn't it? To just be
Yeah.
compassionate.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And the idea of the leave your door, you know, your front door and your back door open. If you're compassionate to your experience, that is a lot easier for thoughts to come in and to go back out again.
Yeah. Yeah. Lovely. Um, so what do you think? So you touched there on compassion, really, and this inner critic and the balance of compassion. So how important was that as part of your journey? And can you give us some more tips?
Yeah, hugely. So the inner critic is part of the fight or flight network, really. If your body, your mind is perceiving you to be vulnerable, it will do anything it can to get you out of the situation. And that can sometimes be by talking to you in a really mean way.
Mm.
And I used to feel crippled all the time by my inner critic. You know, I describe in the book about getting up on stage and feeling like I had concrete boots on my
Yes,
feet, because
yes,
you know, my fight or flight is going retreat. You know, it's using everything, but speaking to me in a really really mean way.
yes,
And yeah, and it would so understanding about how compassion can really help, that was so empowering for me to recognize, and this is where I was mentioning loving kindness earlier, to recognize that in the moment when my inner critic is there, I'm feeling vulnerable, and to identify that, and to bring in some loving kindness phrases or a sense of compassion in some way. Because if I'm feeling vulnerable, that's what I need. I need to hold myself in a powerful way, in that way. And it could be just to say some, like, may I be safe, or may I feel peace, or may I feel strength, and just recite those words to myself. Can help me to get out of that fight or flight situation. So compassion and identifying moments when you need to bring compassion is really important, because it's something, when we're in fight or flight, we tend to do the opposite. We tend to criticize us, be critical and beat ourselves up. Yeah.
And I love the way that you mentioned earlier about, you have your meditation practice, but then during the day, you often practice short periods of loving kindness meditation or compassionate meditation. And,
Yeah.
you know, in a way, if you've practiced that, then when that kind of, you've got your concrete boots going on, it almost seems to arise, doesn't it? Because the practice has been put in already.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a really, I always think it's so important that we understand and feel we have a relationship with this aspect of ourselves, get to know it, and take care of it like we were to good friends,
Yeah.
and that was why I wanted to call the book Making Friends with Yourself, because when we're overwhelmed, we don't recognize ourselves anymore. We don't recognize the person we've become.
Yeah, that's so
And
true.
so this is a journey in order to create that friendship again with ourselves.
That's so beautiful, really beautiful. So you obviously teach a lot as well because you're teaching all the time, actually,
Yeah.
probably. But you teach a lot for the British School of Meditation and other teaching. So what do you love most about teaching?
It just feels like it's me.
Yeah.
I'm completely myself when I'm teaching. It's not a kind of, I don't have to really think about it. It's just me being me, I guess.
Yeah.
But I just feel it's a real honor to be in a position where I can support people while they are learning something new. It just feels like a real big honor. And I like to be able to help things to land with people, when they're like, so if they're not sure about their understanding of something, I like to kind of really be on my toes and think, well, how can I help this person to have the right understanding in a way that they can connect with? So I sometimes use sort of examples of like how I've learnt things. So, when I was talking about the crochet thing,
Yes.
if for some people that can land because they can really get that whole concept. Oh yeah, when I learn something new, it can be hard at first, but then I'm learning though, even when it's hard. So yeah, that's what I truly love, is helping it to land when somebody isn't quite sure about something
I know
and
that's
finding their connection with it. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's really important, isn't it? It's that aha and that connection. It's the
Yes.
connection that's really important, and then it connects sort of you and them with that what they're connecting with, and there's this sense of brilliance and connection, which is
Yes.
wonderful.
It
Yeah,
is about them being their brilliant selves.
yeah, yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, no, beautiful. Um, so there must have been challenges in writing a book.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
believe. I know you said that that you had the whole sort of structure in your mind at some point, or it was there, but there must have been challenges. So, do you have any advice for people thinking of writing a book, how to put pen to paper?
Yeah, it's not easy because it's finding your voice
Mm,
within that. You can have the skeleton, but how are you going to present that so that people can connect with it is really important. I'd say, first of all, just journal, just write everything down, like do a mind dump. It doesn't have to be in any particular order. Even if it's just a few minutes a day to write things down, write ideas down, or write things that are going on inside of you, that can start help shaping it in some way. And be flexible as well. Know that don't be so firm with the idea. Know that it can change as well. And also, there's lots of really amazing writing groups out there as well.
mm,
And I joined one, and it was just the best place to be. It was called The Sanctuary, and it was like-minded people. And the lady that was running it has now gone on to to amazing success in her own right. But she really, really helped you to bring you out in your writing, and
mm.
that was so valuable, really, really valuable to be amongst other people, but also to have that someone there sort of saying, pull this out, of you, and just to right some wrongs as well,
Yes.
that because actually you want it to sound like you, but you need to make it grammatically correct as well. it needs to be, yeah, to have that. And then later on, I had a really good copy editor.
Yeah.
Really, she was amazing as well. So I really recommend that. Getting someone who as well that can work with you to do the cover. That was an amazing process to put that together.
It's
Someone
such
really,
fun as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that creative side of it was really good fun. Um, and yeah, just don't be frightened to get it out there. And also know that life will get in the way. Very sadly, we lost my stepdad during COVID, and I just finished the first draft. And and I was like, you're on a roll at that point. And life just had to take a different turning for 2 years. I put the book and parked it up and just said that will come back when I'm ready. And actually, the what I'd learnt in those 2 years, I could then bring and put into the book. It was so
Yeah,
worthwhile.
that's fantastic advice. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, it's wonderful. So, Sarah, what's next? What's on your horizon? Have you got another book?
I always have ideas, so I think there will be one day. But do you know what? I'm really enjoying where I am right now. I feel very content with, being part of the British School of Meditation. Just having the experience of just meeting almost daily some incredible people, supporting them with their dreams just is really amazing, and just enjoying family life and catching up with myself, sort of following, the last year. And but yes, I'm hoping that the British School of Meditation is going to be the turn to in lots of ways. That's for people who are wanting to train, that they recognise that they've got, that we've got really good training, really good support. Even after finishing the qualification, the support continues. And I really feel, that this is just such a wonderful thing that we do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and the support afterwards has really grown this year, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. We've got our app,
Mm.
which has got lots of resources on, and we've got and the ability to be able to ask questions, not only of us, but of one another. I know that some people have hooked up through the app. We've
Yeah.
got live events, some free events. It's really important that there's a sense of community, even almost family-like in a way,
Yes.
should you wish to have it. you
Yes.
know
Yeah.
yeah.
That's fantastic. So, if we want to get your book, I've already got a copy, but and read it a few times actually.
Oh, that's so
So,
nice.
if people want to get your book, where can they find you?
So you can buy it directly from me via my website, which is sarahpresley.co.uk, or through Amazon. And through Amazon, you can get paperback or you can get a Kindle version as well.
Amazing. Okay. Um, so, are there any other sort of websites or social media handles that you'd like to us to know about?
Yeah, I'm mostly on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram's probably my favorite. I'm on Sarah Presley Meditation on both of those. And I'm always running beginners courses. I call them Foundation One because I was talking about foundations earlier. That's what I see. And they're kind of loosely based on the book as well. Part of it is to understand why we feel worry and why we get angry, and about the judgment. And that features quite a lot through the course to make it practical in its use. And then I do a foundation too as well,
Yeah.
and it's for those people who really really want meditation to be part of their life, and to go to sort of a deeper understanding about it and a deeper experience within it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah, thank you so much for sharing both your incredible journey in life and through the power of meditation, um, and all your insights into meditation and writing a book. It's been an absolute privilege to chat with you today, and you are an incredibly inspiring and caring person. And I hope that anybody who is looking for meditation manages to find you, because I think they will be in incredibly safe and loving hands. So thanks so much, Sarah, for chatting with me today.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Catherine. It's been lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.